YouTube? Well, here we go, heading out on the road again tonight. A little bit of a late night call here. Got a TH460B Caterpillar. Got to change the main hydraulic pump. We just did a major repair on this cat actually. Pulled the boom cylinder off, sent it in, had it rebuilt. It was leaking really bad. Got it back, put it back on there. Put in fresh oil, new filters, all that kind of stuff. And I don't think it's run for very long, but that pump quit, supposedly. Customer says it was getting really noisy, and then all of a sudden it just stopped working. So he has picked up a new hydraulic pump direct from Caterpillar, dropped it off at the job site, and I'm just going to head down there tonight. I'm loaded up with cardboard and pails and everything else to change it right on site. Because those machines, if the main hydraulic pump fails, you don't steer, you don't move your boom, you don't do nothing. So I gotta get that changed so they can use it hopefully tomorrow morning. My truck stinks. I popped in at home for a quick bite of supper. And then when I went to leave, we got a big old tomcat, and he was up on my service truck and he peed on my windshield. So I used my wiper washer to wipe that off of there. And of course that all runs down the front valance or whatever of the windshield where you suck your cab air in. So now my cab stinks like cat pee. It reeks. And people wonder why I don't like cats. Anyway, job site, here we go. I'll race you there. Here we are. There's our Caterpillar. There's our pails of oil sitting there. We got a stiff wind blowing out of the north today. For those of you that are not that familiar with Kazakhstan here, that means it's cold. North winds are cold. And there's no shelter from the north here either. But it is what it is. Look at that nice shop they're building, eh? Looks big. I like it. So he was saying this thing just pretty well completely gave out on him. So let's see what we got going on here. We got all kinds of parts in here. Water pump. Oh, this is my box of stuff. This is for a different project. All right, see what she does here. Ooh, yeah, she's pretty rattly. Oh, and I've got no functions. No steering, no nothing. Yeah, okay. Quit is right. Well, I have to drain the oil out of the reservoir there, so I think I'm going to take and park my truck in here to block that north wind. The wind is coming from that direction. I'm going to try and park my truck in here to help block some of that so my oil doesn't just all spray everywhere. I'm going to start by draining a little bit of oil into a clean pail so I can see what that oil looks like, because if it's all full of shrapnel or something or metal, then we're definitely going to be putting new oil in there. Usually I like to turn the wheel out so you can get in there better, but I don't have that luxury this time. That wind is just howling and I can't really get my truck in a good position to block it. It's gonna make it tough to drain into these pails. Yep, this is gonna be a messy job. The oil doesn't look great. We've had a lot of issues actually with the oil, hydraulic oil in this machine. It always seemed like it had coolant in it. We could never figure out where it was coming from. That's a messy job. Yeah, so the oil is kind of funny looking. I don't know what to think about that. It's almost like it still has a little bit of coolant residue in there. So I was talking about that coolant before. You've all had a few seconds to think about what I was saying. And you're probably yelling, hydraulic oil cooler for the engine. Yeah, it's interesting. This thing was using maybe like 2 liters of coolant a month, maybe, and the hydraulic oil level never really seemed to be going up that much. But where else could it be coming from, right? That tube right down underneath there is the hydraulic oil cooler, and it is cooled with engine coolant. And I had that out of there a few times and pressure tested it with it sunk down in a bucket of water, and I could never get any air bubbles in there. Didn't really matter how much pressure I would put in there, I could never get any bubbles. Well, I'd had that cooler out of there a couple times and it always pressure tested good, and it's a really expensive part, so a little bit reluctant to just change it. And one day I got the brainwave that, well, what if this only happens when this thing is hot? Like hot. So I took that cooler and I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner and just turned the heater on for the ultrasonic cleaner, not the ultrasonic pulsing. And I forget what temperature it was, but once it hit a certain temperature, all of a sudden, oh, this little pinhole started happening. And before you know it, we had a stream of air bubbles coming up there. So eventually we changed that cooler, but these things, you got hydraulic oil all through everything in here, the cylinders, the lines. It holds a ton of oil. And so we've been flushing this, changing oil every so often just to get that coolant out of the system. And I think that's probably what did that pump in. I think it just had coolant a little bit too long. I gotta drain the transmission oil because that pump goes on the back of the transmission, and if I pull that pump out of there, that transmission oil is going to come pouring out on top of me, so I got to empty this out. This is the same reservoir, same oil as the hydraulic reservoir. It's all the same system, it just circulates it through. Okay, looks like one pail is going to do it there. I'll grab this filter off of here and take a look inside of that. Oh, that's not even tight. That's funny. My customer was giving me a hard time because when I put these on, I always like to have the part number facing out so it's really easy to see. And sometimes when it's tight, it doesn't line up in the right spot, so you got to tighten it a little more. And then of course, when you do that, it can be a real bear to get that thing off of there later. So that's what happened. They wanted to change this filter and it was on there super, super tight. He was like, I was about to call you. You can come take your own dumb filter off. Whoopsies. Anyway, don't do that. Just tighten it. And then when it's tight, it's tight. But tighter than what this was. I was worried with that pump failing that it would have filled the whole hydraulic system full of oil, or full of metal shavings. But so far, that does not appear to be the case. The oil has been looking super nice and clean. I'll pull this filter off and we'll cut it open and just see once what the inside of it looks like. This is the filter that he was running on here when the pump quit on him. And that might sound like a funny statement, but we had put a brand new filter on here after doing the lift cylinder and stuff, and that filter was already taken off and replaced with this filter. So this is the one that was on here when it actually quit. The other one got changed when it was just being kind of noisy and we weren't too sure what was going on. Okay, let's go to the back of the truck. Oh, messy, messy, messy. Not every job's a clean one, that's for sure. Okay. Alright. Honestly, I'm kind of procrastinating a little bit taking that pump off because that is going to be the most not fun part of this job. Okay, that's a filter cutter tool. You got your rollers there and your knife blade there. Stick that over top of your filter. Tighten it up. And you just make a round. Tighten it up a bit more, make a round. And as we do that, it's gonna draw a line there and it slowly cuts through that steel. Somehow, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that works. These are a very heavy wall filter, fairly high pressure, but this filter cutter cuts right through them. I think I got this on eBay many years ago. I don't know how long I've had this for. You just keep spinning it around there until it cuts through. Curious to see what the pleats are going to look like inside here. That's must be close. There we go. I can hear it crackling now. That means we're right at the end. Come on. There we go. Usually it doesn't take that long. Wow. So that's your filter head. Loosen the pressure off a bit or what? There it is. Look at that. It's nice and clean. Nice and clean. There's the odd little metal flake in between there I can see. But it is clean, so that's a good sign. A little bit of metal in the bottom there, but no, that's pretty good. So I would say we probably would be pretty safe to put that oil back in there. It's only got a couple hours on it and it doesn't look like there's any metal in any of that stuff. Let's get this right out of there and look down in the bottom. Oh, there's metal in here. Ooh, yeah. There's lots of metal in here. I don't know if you can see that. All the sparkles in there. Probably doesn't show up very good on the camera. Yeah, there's definitely some metal there. This guy, though, doesn't look bad. To do this right, what you would do is cut these ends off, cut these bands, cut it straight open, and this whole thing will unfold like an accordion, and then you can look in between. They're really nice. I don't need to get that far into it because I got a good enough idea already what I'm looking for, and this is pretty good. Okay, time to climb underneath here and see what kind of a mess we can make. First thing is we got to get our load sense line off of the compensator, and I don't have the right wrench here. Okay, let's get this guy off. There, that's gonna have to just kind of stick out of the way here somewhere for now, like that maybe. Okay, and then we got to get this line off and that line off. Of course, oil is probably going to be dropping in my face the whole time during that process, so that'll be pretty fun. Ugh. Oh, get on there. There it is. Okay, and on this one here. One thing about these DeWalt ratchets, they sure have a lot of torque. Okay, not quite enough. I'm gonna have to get a wrench and loosen that guy off. I'll put that under there to hopefully catch at least some of the oil that's gonna come out. There comes a little drippy drippy. Okay, now that one. That is not the right size either. Oh yeah, it's a metric machine and I'm trying to do this all with standard wrenches. So, maybe I'll go get the right wrench. This thing is annoying. It's just right in the way for everything. that gets that out of my way. Now I gotta figure out how to get this last bolt up here. I can't, just not quite enough throw on the old wrench. There we go. Get enough of the right bite going on here. That bolt is not in a very nice place. Should almost have that far enough to slide this out of there. No, not quite, eh? Can I get it from the top here with a shorty? Maybe? Why does that not fit? Ah, yeah, quarter turn at a time. Gotta have patience. Now we're draining the last little bit out of that hydraulic reservoir and that huge suction line. Ooh, there's metal coming out of here. That pump is not happy inside there. Oh, come on. Wow. It's almost like somebody put this together with bolts that had really dirty threads, because they sure screw hard coming out. There, now we got the case drain line to do. That is this one up here. It's the hose clamp. Okay. Okay, there we go. Alright, now, what are these things? Allen heads. I don't know why we have to have Allen head bolts, but you do find that a lot on construction stuff, on hydraulic pumps and stuff like that. That seems to be the right size there. Okay, that's loose. Now what do we do with the other side? Oh, it's not even bad to get at, actually. But it's tight. There we go. And I'm losing daylight a little quicker than what I thought I was gonna. Ugh. Okay, I think this is just a 2-bolt flange on this pump. So it should be just these 2 bolts, and then I should be able to dump that pump out of there. Whoa! I thought I drained that. Come here, Mr. Pump. Yep. Ah, there it is. Okay, got this thing up here on the table where I can actually see it. It's cold out tonight, man. Was not expecting that. Okay, so that looks right. We don't have our case drain fitting. Block off plates there, they'll come off. And we don't have our flange O-ring. Yeah, I got the old one there. Might have to reuse that. Oh, it was getting a little bit too cold. I had to put my block heater back on. I haven't had that on for a while. It's been pretty nice the last couple of weeks. So I checked through all the stuff and they did not give us a new mounting O-ring, so I'm gonna have to reuse the old one. Hopefully that doesn't leak. I'll get that plug out. What size we got there for that? Not that one. This one's probably gonna be too big. Well, that's the one right there. Just getting that resonation in here instead of whacking it out like it's supposed to. So we'll get one with a bigger hammer. Sometimes these get painted in and they can be a little tight anyway. Let me go get that fitting off that other pump. Okay, here's that fitting. Should be about straight back almost. So right about there. Okay, that one's tight. Now, these ones I think I'm gonna leave on there until I have this thing in and mounted. And then I can take these off and put those other pieces on after. Alright, I just took a couple of minutes there to clean up my hardware. I got my flange O-ring back on here, which I just have to reuse the old one because we didn't get a new one. Yep. This pump weighs as much as I do. Oh, I wish that was tied up out of the way somewhere better, but anyway. Oh, maybe I better do that. I don't like that thing dripping on me. There, that'll get that kind of out of my way a little bit better for now. Oh, hang on. I put this fitting in the wrong side of the pump. Okay, I'm back. I guess that drain is somewhat universal. They got plugs on both sides, so you can have it whichever way you want it. In this case, I'm gonna put it back the way it was. Yeah. Oh, this pump weighs more than I do. Yep. Yep. Whew. Okay. That thing is in there. Let's put some bolts in. This one's got the bracket right there. Okay, what do we gotta do here? Which way do we have to twist it? There we go. Alright, that one is kind of sort of started. On this side. Okay. Alright, we'll use one of these extensions that has a bit of a knuckle on it. Ooh, is this gonna work this way? Okay, that one's in. Same thing on this side. No, don't have enough. No, that's not what I want. Come on. It doesn't want to bite. Okay. I guess I have to go get a ratchet or something then. Alright. Oh, it was actually pretty tight. Okay, well. Underestimating the power of the DeWalt. Yeah, that's tight. Alright, good. What's that now? Where'd I go with that case drain line? I stuck that somewhere. Where did I stuck that? There it is there. I'm gonna clean that up a bit. Alright, get this thing up here. I'm gonna go underneath there. Like this. There. That's on there. And we can tighten them up. It's cold and it's getting dark. Makes the guy want to get a bit rushy. It's not a good idea to get rushy on stuff like this or you wind up doing it twice. We don't want to do it twice. Okay, just put a little grease on the old O-ring there to help hold it into this flange fitting so it doesn't come out of there. And then, I guess I gotta get these guys out of there yet, eh? Oh, interesting. Ooh, wow. Can't even break that thing off there. There it is. Now we can grab this guy up into place right there. Oh, it's amazing how much easier these bolts go in when your threads are cleaned up. Okay, now, there's no way I'm getting this on that one, is it? Almost. Hoses are in the way. Oh, look at that. Okay, now I'm just gonna verify those with a wrench. And this one. Oh, this one's can't do it there. So do it here. Okay, those are tight. No, I can't get in there. This one's a little thinner. There you go. Now, for sneaking that guy in there, I should be able to put this one in here like that. And I should be able to put this one in here like that. And then this should be able to go up into place like that and just kind of slide in there, right? Yep, there we go. Perfect. And then we should get this one somewhere in here. It feels like it's going in. And last one right here. All right. Ooh, that's tight. Okay, now I gotta put that fitting in here yet, off that other pump. All right, let's get this in there. If we pull that plug out, put this one in. Oh, ouch. All right, this guy in here. There we go. Something like that. All right, and then this right here can come off. We'll get this back off. There's our coil. It's gonna go back on there. That piece is gonna go back on there. Oh, do I have this backwards? I put it on there backwards. It has to be like this, and then like that. And this one is gonna go like that. And we have our nut. No, that's too big for that, eh? Yep. Oops, we're not lined up here on our bottom plate. There, that's better. That's better. That's it for under here then, I hope. Now they did bring me a nice new cat filter, so I guess I'll have to put that on there because I totally ruined the old one. Well, that one is not gonna sit as nice as I would like, but that's tight enough. Well, I was kind of pouring some of this oil back and forth between the pails. They pretty much all have a little bit of metal in the bottom, and you can see the swirling in the oil, which is generally fine metal, so I guess we better put the new stuff in rather. Alright, time to fire it up and see if it leaks. To see if it makes any funny noises. Oh, it sounds really nice. I don't see any leaks yet. Let's see if we have steering. No steering yet. Yeah, one thing that I kind of forgot about was the that filter is actually a return filter. It does not filter the oil that goes out of the valve block. So, sorry, out of the pump. The pump pumps straight into the valve block. So any metal that blows up goes right into that valve block in the back, which means there's probably some stuff stuck in there. The steering is not working very good right now. And the steering is on the priority circuit. It'll be one of the first things that gets oil. I'm gonna have to drive this around a little bit try and work this out of it. But yeah, it doesn't feel very good. Shoot. The hydraulics work really nice though. Yeah, that's good. Booms in and out nice. Pump is super quiet. On this machine, I don't think I've ever heard the pump this quiet. So it's just the steering. We gotta go drive this around and get the steering worked through a little bit. Okay, so the hydraulics are working pretty good. Down is always really slow on this one, but the steering is not good. Okay, what do we got here? First gear, reverse. Okay. Park brake is off. Alright, let's go drive this thing a bit. Steers hard. Oh, there we go. That's getting better. Oh, that's way better. Oh, still not quite there, but it's better. It's getting there. No, it's good, because otherwise I gotta go into that valve block in the back, and then there's that one spool in there that has a bleed orifice. That orifice has a screen and it captures the little bits of particles that try to get through there and blocks them, but then when that happens you lose that steering pressure to your cylinders, to your steering cylinders, and it steers really hard and really slow. Oh yeah, this is much better. Okay, well, I'd say that test drive was pretty successful. Well, there we go. Got them all cleaned up. I guess that's another one done. Got to be a little bit of a late night, and to be honest, this one kind of sucked. A little too cold and windy for me. Laying in the dirt with oil dripping all over you. It's not that fun either, but it's all got to get done, you know? These machines, they don't usually break down by the river at your favorite walleye hole. It's all just part of the fun of it. Next job you get, you're just sitting in the sunshine doing a gravy job, and life is great, so gotta have some of these ones too. That's gonna do it for today, guys. Appreciate you coming along and keeping me company changing that crazy thing. It's nice to have another machine all up and going. See you in the next video.